GT1 cars toured the globe with the fastest sports cars of the early 2000s, and just in time, in fact, for iRacing to immortalize the mark they left on motorsport. Thankfully, since they're available to the members of iRacing.com, some leagues come along and decide to run them. In this case, we welcome back the Superior Class Auto Racing Sports Car Championship, a brand new series to fit underneath the Superior Class Auto Racing banner. Welcome to the virtual Daytona International Speedway. JP Costa, alongside this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever you're watching from, I suppose might change. JP, Daytona feels like the right place to start any sports car series. Of course, we've seen GT3 leagues and the sort start at all kinds of different venues, but I really feel Daytona is the best place, the place to start a sports car series, and we're here this evening.
Yeah, exactly. Such a perfectly balanced place to start a new series, to start actually with a new car, even though it's quite old, but a new series with it. You know, it's such a balanced road course. You can see there are plenty of overtaking opportunities. Obviously, turn 1 might be your place of choice, but obviously turns 9 and 10 might be a driver's favorite as well. But as you can see, a lot of foot down to the floor places. But also it has its challenges, Andrew. I'm pretty sure turn 6 might catch some of these drivers out. But other than that, it's such a fantastic road course. I love spending hours and hours setting up cars around here, and it's just so much.
Yeah, Daytona is a lot of fun in a sports car, in proper sport. Any car, I feel like, whether it's the oval or the road course, doesn't really matter. I feel like Daytona is just a fun racetrack for anybody to enjoy. Of course, you see the Daytona road course in front of you. It was lapped most recently, at least the world record was set very recently by Felipe Nasr in the 24 Hours of Daytona in 2019 in a Cadillac DPI. We won't be going quite that quickly, although 10 seconds off, that is not too bad. These GT1 cars, they're a little bit older. They don't run quite, I guess, as balanced as some modern GT cars, but they've got a lot of speed, and that's what makes them so fast here at the Daytona International Speedway. You can see it's the course that I think a lot of us are really, really familiar with. Turn 1, very hard braking zone right after the Daytona Tri-Oval with 18 degrees of banking. Through the little S's right at pit exit in Turn 2, the International Horseshoe is your first big passing opportunity that is not turn 1. I guess that makes a lot of sense as well. The International Horseshoe is one of those places, and I feel like it's obviously a lot like the West Horseshoe, JP. You either can pass or you can't. There's no in between. It's really tough to run there side by side. You usually get guys maybe side by side on entry and exit, but in between there's usually a crossover move that happens a lot like on ovals and dirt tracks.
Yeah, exactly. But other than that, I'm pretty sure these guys are going to make every single overtake possible on this racetrack. I'm not quite sure what's your favorite overtaking opportunity, because I know you run some endurance races here. As you can see, some drivers falling victims of look like that's turn 6 on the back screen of the track map. But yeah, this is just going to be a fantastic racetrack, and I cannot wait to see what these drivers are going to put us on a show, because I mean, I cannot wait. Daytona on GT1 cars.
And what makes it a lot more fun is corners like the kink here at Daytona, where most sports cars, at least in the modern era, they could handle the kink flat out. Well, these GT1 cars, you might have to lift a little bit, especially when you're racing around one another. So a lot of weird corners, a lot of weird matchups for these cars here at Daytona. They used to run here, of course, but this is just a little bit different. These are more raw, just, I don't want to say stock cars, obviously, but I mean, a lot of raw power within these GT1 cars. Now, we've not talked yet about which GT1 cars we have. Let's go ahead and do so. We don't have point standings. This is race 1 of the season. So let's talk about the cars that we have this afternoon, this evening, again, whatever. We've got the Chevrolet Corvette C6R, which had a few iterations over its time, of course, and the Aston Martin DBR9. They're both, of course, very heavily based on their road-going counterparts, the Chevrolet Corvette of the time, the C6, and the Aston Martin DB9. They check in pretty similar in every category, which is about what you want, of course, from a couple of cars that are touring the world with one another and racing with one another. What's interesting to me, JP, and this is something that might even catch you off guard, is the fact that while the Aston Martin has the smaller motor, technically, 6 liters of displacement, or 6,000 cc's, versus the 6,980 cc's in the Chevrolet Corvette motor, It actually makes 10 more horsepower, a little bit less torque at rev, but it makes a little bit more horsepower at the top end. And that, honestly, was the first thing that caught me off guard when I was going through these cars, comparing them. Also, the Aston Martin is a little bit heavier, something I would not have expected. You can see there about 154 pounds heavier, it looks like, and whatever that comes out to, I guess, 70 kilograms thereabouts. A little bit longer as well. The Corvette's a little bit shorter, which makes it a little bit more nifty around the corners. That's the opposite from what I ever would have gathered with a Chevrolet. Especially the Corvette. It's front engine, it's heavy, it kind of lumbers around corners, but it's actually a bit more nimble than this Aston Martin.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it, and the engine is such a good pickup because it just reflects what these companies have done in the past. We think about Corvettes, we think about V8s, strong, powerful, noisy V8s. And even though they produce 10 less horsepower than the V12s that we found in the Aston Martins, it's torqueier, as you mentioned. It has that is nearly 50, no, that is over 80 pounds-foot of torque stronger than the Aston Martin. Obviously, a little bit lighter, so that could prove an advantage on some of these circuits. But obviously, driver preference sometimes will favor out some of the other cars. And I'm interested to see what the driver choice will be overall for this race. If the drivers will choose more of the Corvette or more of the British counterpart, the Aston Martin.
Yeah, of course, the Chevrolet Corvette hailing from the United States of America and the Aston Martin hailing from the UK. It is interesting that you bring up torque. The Aston Martin, a little bit less torque, means it doesn't spin the tires as much out of the corner, which is, again, very interesting with the heavier car that it's got. But I'm going to be honest, I've been lapping each car in preparation for this race. I feel like the Aston Martin is a little bit more balanced overall in a race setup. It's kind of weird. The Chevrolet has the stats, interestingly enough. The Corvette has got the stats over the Aston Martin, but I feel like the Aston is just a little bit better, which, it's got that racing pedigree to go along with it from eons and eons back, it feels like. Of course, the Corvette's been in racing for a long time as well, but it just, something about Aston Martins and racing works together. They both debuted in 2005 with the inception of the GT1 category across the world, and of course, raced until about 2010. They had about a pretty short stint. Of course, you can see that the Chevrolet won the last ever GT1 race. What I've found is that was in either 2011, 2012. I was trying to fact check things, ran out of time earlier, but both of these cars have won championships. Both of these cars have won a lot of races, and they're both a lot of fun to wheel. Let's get right down to it. This series, the Superior Class Auto Racing Sports Car Championship, 10 races over the course of the next few months, beginning, of course, this evening at Daytona. Next time we're back with these guys, it'll be in a few weeks' time. It'll be down in Leeds, Alabama at Barber Motorsports Park, then Lime Rock Park, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Watkins Glen International, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, or the Montreal course. The F1 and IndyCar and NASCAR have all visited. Then Autodromo Nazionale Monza, of course, Monza out in Italy, WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca, and Sonoma Raceway. This is a very IMSA / Grand Am-ish schedule. This feels like proper GT1 racing.
Yeah, I guess this season schedule will just enhance the experience that we have with the GT1 cars. Some circuits caught my eye, mostly Barber and Mid-Ohio. Barber, obviously, with a lot of undulation changes, will be interesting. I'm definitely interested in seeing these cars. And obviously, I guess the drivers will have a bit more of a safer race around Monza. Obviously, it's a flat course, high speed, high braking zone, but not a lot of undulation changes. So things will go from highs to lows. And obviously, right after Monza, we do have Laguna Seca, so it's not going to be that easy. So a lot of different circuits to test these drivers' capabilities. And, well, I'm definitely interested to see only one circuit on Europe, it looks like, the rest either on Canada or the United States. So, they chose it well. I'm pretty happy.
We've got a trip, of course, down to Florida, another one to Alabama, then Connecticut, Ohio, New York, a couple of trips up to Canada by virtue of Ontario and Quebec, then Italy, and 2 races in California to wrap up the season. Qualifying getting underway here from the Daytona International Speedway. David Bradford so far fastest. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these cars as they get running around here before we take our quick pre-race break. Here's David Bradford and his number 46. Boy, these Corvettes, they look fantastic, and they're looking pretty fast as well. I love the custom number font as well in that number box, that number board.
It looks amazing. It looks really good. The livery kind of, obviously I'm used to the classic yellow Corvette, but this red and black one really suited it well. I'm pretty happy with the job that David Bradford did. Now, this Aston Martin, that looks good. That looks like a modern Aston Martin. It is the modern livery, isn't it, Andrew? It looks so good on the old car, and well, it looks competitive as well.
Yeah, it's certainly based on the current livery at the very least. We can go ahead and take a look at how fast these guys are going. And actually, he's, I believe, not right behind Bradford, but maybe behind one of his teammates as they work up onto the banking here at Daytona through NASCAR 1 and 2. Coming up on the 15 car, that is the 15 of, and I'm looking through here. Potentially Vincent Short. I see him in an 015, and that is Vincent Short. So 015, 15, it all works out the same way. There's Vincent Short's machine. 2 seconds off. Looks like 2.8 seconds off in qualifying so far. Andrew Lockie is, that we were just talking about, Andrew Lockie is 2/10 out. We've got Jesse King has just gone pretty darn quick. Third quickest in his Corvette, goes about 4.5 tenths out of the pole, and somebody just went off the course behind him. There is another Aston Martin, Steve Singer. He actually was the guy who contacted us and got all of this set up, so very thankful that he came to us here at PitStop TV. Stephen Baldwin's on the course, the number 18 car. That is another Corvette. A lot of fantastic liveries out here, Jake B.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of ones striking. This looks like a Red Bull, a modern Red Bull one, as we do have Hewitt with a green Corvette. Not the green where I was expecting, but a very good looking, as we have a little view on his cockpit. The number 33 looks amazing as also. Andrew, I'm catching up a lot of Corvettes and only one Aston Martin so far. So it looks like some drivers have already chosen, well, their choices for the season, and it looks like the American car might be the I guess the wider choice.
We've got a few Aston Martins in here, certainly. I see 1, 2, 3 in the top 7. Here's Brian Rose in one of the Astons, mirroring that of Steve Singer's. And then it is a lot of Corvettes to finish out the top 10. Down in 13th right now, working on putting a time down. That's Cody Harger in the number 66. Another one with him that is going to be Mark Truxell, currently in the pit lanes. Looking like 5 Aston Martins so far, a lot more Corvettes, which I feel like is different, a little bit different from what we would have seen in the mid-2000s with customer car racing with these cars. I'd have to go back and, I guess, research that, but I feel like you'd see more Aston Martins than Corvettes potentially back in the day. Regardless, qualifying is working its way down. We will take a quick little break here as qualifying wraps up. Be right back to you and announce your starting grid for round number 1 of the Superior Class Auto Racing Sports Car Championship. Don't go anywhere. This is PitStop TV.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Welcome back to the virtual Daytona International Speedway. So glad to have you all along watching this evening on PitStop TV for the first race of the Superior Class Auto Racing Sports Car Championship. That's a mouthful. Try saying that 5 times fast there, JP. So glad to have you alongside for this one. We have you on a lot of these road events, but it's always a lot of fun having you in the crew regardless, especially for these road events. We've been getting you into some of that oval stuff, and you know what? Speaking of oval stuff, a lot of these drivers, their oval drivers in themselves. They run NASCAR stock cars, and we've had coverage of their series before, JP. How do you think that's going to differ? I guess I shouldn't say differ. Obviously, it's going to differ in that they're turning right this evening instead of just left. But how do you think that's going to change up the preparation for some of these drivers as somebody that is usually on road and sometimes does oval?
Thank you for the kind words. And obviously, it's a completely different monster, you know, jumping from road to oval or oval to road. You know, I consider myself a quite decent guy on road racing, but whenever I jumped into ovals, I struggle quite a bit. You know, it looks quite simple, but looks can be deceiving. And obviously, road courses, they look intimidating, they look very different. And obviously, it's a completely different monster to tame, but, you know, it's just learning, you know, braking markers, turn-in markers, you know, how much you can push the car, how much you can save. You know, it's the essentials are the same, you know, just the turn-in points, the braking points, how much you can save, you know, stints-wise, tire-wise. But obviously, it does get quite a bit harder, at least in my opinion, you know, handling and setting up the car, setting up your driving style for each track in each car. But, you know, if you're jumping from oval to road, it's going to be an interesting challenge.
Qualifying wrapping up, 15 cars, 15 drivers getting ready to do battle for 45 minutes on the high banks of the Daytona International Speedway. That's right, 45 minutes of racing for these drivers. They've got full fuel tanks, so they shouldn't have to pit, but it might come right down to potentially a little bit of fuel mileage, a little bit of fuel strategy in this race. They shouldn't need to take tires at all, but some drivers may opt to anyways, and these drivers do have one faster pair to work with. This series is brought to you by Grid Engineering by SimLab. Grid Engineering by SimLab. There we go. We'll get that down. You can go over to grid-engineering.com to find all of their products today. There's a lot going on over there, and they are a manufacturer of high-end electronics specifically for sim racing. I'm looking at some great not wheel bases, but some great actual wheels to mount onto wheel bases. Looking at one for a Porsche 911, for example. A lot of great stuff going on over there. Just take a quick gander over to their website again, grid-engineering.com, and there is a lot of eye candy to look at for any kind of sim racer. The grid is on the way. On the pole, as we talked about a little bit before we took our quick little break, is going to be David Bradford, the number 46, fastest in qualifying. The number 46 shall lead us to the green here in just a few more moments. Andrew Lockie will start to his outside. So we've got the first row representing both cars. We've got a Corvette inside pole and an Aston Martin outside pole. That's going to be a lot of fun at a turn number one. Starting from the third position this evening, it's Jesse King in the 25. Steve Singer will bring his Aston Martin to the green flag from fourth. Starting fifth, it's an Aston Martin again. It's Cody Harger in the 66. Will Hewitt starts from sixth. Starting in the seventh position this evening, JP, it's going to be Stephen Baldwin, followed up closely by Brian Rose in the number 89 Aston Martin.
Starting off in P9, we're going to have Vincent Short in the 015 and the number 86 of Colt Ansley on the outside lane. In row number 6, we're going to have Thomas McMullen in the 02 and the number 40 of Jeff Napier on the 12th place. Starting off in P13, we're going to have Carson Conway in the 72 and the number 16 of Bobby Hamilton. On the 15th spot and last spot, we're going to have the number 5 of Mark Truxell. And it looks like every single driver is getting excited and ready for the green flag. And I'm excited as well.
You can see drivers with their headlights lighting this track up. That's one really cool thing about sports car racing at Daytona. Of course, Daytona has the big stadium lights around the entire facility for NASCAR, obviously. But this lighting is really, really cool with a sports car. Even though you've got your headlights to light up the track in front of you, it all looks fantastic. Seeing sports cars around here, specifically these GT1 cars, is always a very, very special sight. 15 drivers coming down to the green flag here momentarily, ready to get this race underway. Again, 45 minutes the distance. That's not a lap race. No, these drivers might go one number of laps, maybe another. The expected number is 27. We'll see if that changes over the course of 45 minutes. David Bradford leading us to the green flag for the first race of the SCAR Sports Car Championship, and we are green. One car already spinning in the dirt. That is Jesse King, the number 25, and he is off in the grass. He gets rolling again. Another car stopped. That is Cody Harger. He's actually in the pit lane, so Jesse King might be the only casualty for now. Down to the kink, and the West Horseshoe will go. Already a lead change. Lockie takes control.
Looks like Andrew Lockie got the perfect start. I'm pretty sure he got the move done into turn 3, looks like, and he just got the inside line well, and that was it. That was done and dusted. Closed the door on the kink, and now he's leading the race. Looks like David Bradford is going to be now chasing him, where we're just going to take a look at how strong the slipstream is. You know, it's strong on GT cars, it's strong on LMP cars. Now, how strong will it be on GT1 cars?
We're about to find out. It should certainly open these drivers up to some moves into the bus stop. It's going to be tough, though, on this opening lap. And I think it's going to get subsequently more difficult for most of the field to be able to challenge up front. Of course, the top 2 running away now. 3rd place hanging tough with them, but certainly waiting on the wings. 4th, 5th. They're a little ways further back, and 6th on back right now. They're just about out of touch of the draft. 43.5 minutes remain. One lap is almost complete here at Daytona. Most of the field continuing on. Cody Harger now leaving the pit lane. He has his race underway. Jesse King is back rolling. No harm, no foul. We keep racing. One lap complete.
One lap of many. The first lap of many look like it. Daniel Bradford might be going around the outside. No, it looks like he's just hanging it on tight, just learning how Andrew Lockie might be driving just for a tad bit. You know, it's just going to be interesting to see how these drivers react. You know, will the strategy game, I love talking about the strategy game, but will it be enforced early on in the race, or will the drivers just race it out to the finish? As you mentioned, Andrew, fuel might not be needed, a pit stop might not be needed. So all of the move might be done on track during.
Well, let's listen here to David Bradford and his shifting. He's shifting early. I mean, he is short shifting. Let's listen to it here up through the gears. He's downshifting kind of early, using the gears to stop the car into the hairpin there. Back up onto the banking. Let's listen to it. Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear that. He's shifting pretty early. David Bradford might already be in fuel save mode. It's something we talk about a lot with other series, JP. That could be the difference between the 23 and the 46. It seems like already Bradford in fuel save mode, thinking about the 45-minute race length. I know these cars are right about that 45-minute length on fuel. At a place where you're going full throttle so often, that minute mark is going to drop by just a little bit.
That's going to be the difference not only between him and the leader, but also between him and a pit stop. A pit stop around this racetrack, due how fast it is, well, it's going to be costly. Looks like we do have another casualty. That's Jeff Napier on his Corvette, and that front end looks absolutely dented. We're going to take a look at the replay to see what happened.
Yeah, certainly some big problems for Jeff Napier here in the number 40. And, oh, it's going to happen in the International Horseshoe. Look at that. And, hey, that's a great showcase of something I wanted to talk about tonight. The new damage model, NDM as we call it, on these Corvettes and Aston Martins. Something that isn't available on all cars on iRacing. We don't see it all that often, but when we are able to see it, man, it looks fantastic. So being able to see it here on these GT1 cars is certainly a treat. This is Jeff Napier into turn 1. He's following the 72 car of Carson Conway. While this is happening, actually live, I should say, Bobby Hamilton Jr. just had a problem. The NASCAR driver around. There you see Jeff Napier going around turn 1. This sets all of this up, JP. He's recovering here. One car I think is going to come on by. Noses it into the barrier the first time, gets rolling, and then just loses it into the hairpin. Not the hairpin, the horseshoe.
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes frustration just kicks in. Obviously, a bit of dirt, something with the tires. The tires may have just overheated at one point, as you can see here on the braking zone. Just completely goes straight. Yeah, just carrying way too much speed. I'm not pretty sure if the brake pedal was, I guess, misconfigured or something, but, you know, just completely went straight on into the barriers. Luckily, as we mentioned, they do allow for a fast repair. They do have a fast repair, and luckily he can get that car fixed quite quickly and go back to the race.
Here's Bobby Hamilton's incident. Bobby Hamilton Jr., that is, spins around out of the International Horseshoe and stops. Looks like he's just going to take a tow. Might be a little frustrated with these GT1 cars. And this is something we kind of touched on earlier, the amount of torque in the Aston Martin. It's so much more than you get in the Corvette, and this is what it leads to with the extra torque and a little bit less weight in the Corvette. You can get that rear end around pretty easily, and he does exactly that exiting the International Horseshoe. Very easy to do. It's also very easy to pop these brakes, lock these brakes up. You've got to lean into the brake a little bit, kind of ease into the brake, and a lot of these drivers, I think, are learning that pretty quickly the hard way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not quite 100% sure what I'm going to say, but I'm not pretty sure, Andrew, if you know if these cars have traction control. I'm not 100%
they do,
sure.
and they will chatter it. Almost every modern sports car does, yeah, of some sort. It's a matter of how, I guess, extreme, how severe, if you want to say that way, that traction control is. It doesn't step in a whole lot. It's going to be like any other GT car. You're going to chatter it, though, and that's, yeah. I don't know that it's going to be adjustable in these cars. I know we're running fixed setups of some sort. I actually don't recall if they are league built or just the setup for the cars, but I don't think they have a whole lot to work with. And again, a lot of these guys are NASCAR iRacers. They run on ovals. They're used to not having TC or ABS, so maybe they dialed that way down to where you're able to get these wheels properly spinning out of the corner, and maybe that was the problem there for Bobby. We don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly. We're not pretty sure what happened between him, but looks like we're going to have a 3-car battle for the lead pretty soon. Looks like Bradford is starting to look like he wants to challenge Locke for the win, at least for the lead right now, as he's looking around the outside as they head into the tri-oval. They're going to start another lap. That was going to be a photo finish if it was the last lap. Will Bradford brave it around the outside? Looks like he is. Well, not quite yet. We're only 8 minutes in to this race. Not quite 100% sure. It looks like looks like we do have at least an Aston leading a Corvette, leading another NAF.
Battles all over the track. This is the second group. This is fourth on back through about the 9th position, it looks like. All in a line right here, even including 10th a little further back. So we're looking at Cole Ainsley battling with Will Hewitt. That's the first couple of cars. And then further back, I guess there is a bit of separation. So this is 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Stephen Baldwin is sitting here in the number 18 car. Brian Rose is along with them. This is kind of the midfield. The tail end of the pack would be, I guess the tail end of the field, would be Vincent Short and Mark Truxell. This is Mark Truxell in an Aston Martin.
Yeah, looks like we're going to have this battle emerging. I mean, isn't it amazing, Andrew, to see these battles going out all around this racetrack, and a track that provides actually overtaking an easy overtaking opportunities. It looks like we do have a car spinning around in turn 6. Yes, we do, and that's going to be Vincent Short. Unfortunately, a victim falling short of turn 6. There's a small little bump there. Oh, nearly connecting another driver. I'm not pretty sure that was Jesse.
Jesse King almost getting contact there from Vincent Short as he rejoined the racing surface. Back up front, Bradford's still in second, Lockheed's still leading, and again, I gotta believe David Bradford is already in fuel safe mode. He's sitting back here, he's within the draft. I don't think he's full throttle right now, it's hard to say. I think he's saving. He's using the draft. He's 4 or 5 mile an hour quicker right now into the braking zone. He's able to close up on Andrew Locke and get right back behind this 23 car. What that's going to allow him to do, that extra speed into the braking zone and pushing it into the braking zone, is going to help him close up and going back onto the oval here in a moment. So long as he executes in the infield, he will be right back close for that draft and be able to save fuel again.
And the exact same thing is happening behind him. Steve Singer is doing the exact same thing. Looks like he's only 0.7 of a second behind Bradford at this moment. So, it's just a question of, is Locke saving in the field? It looks like Will Hewitt on the number 33 spun out. Is that on the horseshoe?
Yeah, this is the International Horseshoe, the number 33 car around. He will get back rolling. Here comes Jesse King to go on by. Gets that spot. So problems for the 33 of Will Hewitt. Goes around again in turn number 3, the International Horseshoe, but is there help? So many times there is, but obviously we saw with Bobby Hamilton, not always.
Yeah, exactly. You can easily make a mistake by yourself around the horseshoe. It's just such a difficult braking zone. It's so deceiving. As we're going to take a look here, it looks like he's starting another lap, heading to the braking zone. Looks like he doesn't have a lot of company behind him, just a little bit of pressure. Turns 1 goes a bit too wide. He's going to go side by side through turn 2. Looks like, well, that's going to be all settled and done now. Is there a bump coming here? No, all by himself looks like. Yes, all spun by himself. Looks like the car didn't have enough downforce to complete turn 3, and he just allowed the car to roll backwards into the...
That's called pressing R2 to intimidate. That's what that is by Cole Ainsley. Basically forces the 33 into a mistake. There's been a change up front. David Bradford has made some contact, it looks like, with potentially Steve Singer and is well back of the 6 car now. That actually might not have been contact with Steve Singer. I see a lot of damage to that car. No damage to Bradford's machine, but Bradford has fallen to 3rd and well out of the draft now of Lockie. This is where Lockie is going to be able to use that gap and potentially save some fuel for himself and the Aston and back himself up to these two. Let's take a look at what potentially happened. Here's David Bradford into turn number 6, and this is about a lap or so ago. I think I might have just heard what happened to Steve Singer potentially. Maybe not, but he's got a lot of right side damage. Hopefully we can show it here in a moment. This number 6 car has got a lot of damage. You can see the right front's dented, scraped up a little bit there in that shot. But really the big story here is David Bradford into the bus stop chicane. What happens here? JP, this is a really tough corner in these GT1 cars. Again, no ABS, a lot of motor. You're going really fast into a hard braking zone.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like that is exactly what happened. Just a lock up on the left front tire. That's going to be a slowdown penalty, obviously an instant point, and, well, looks like that's all she's going to road. And as you mentioned, the bus stop is a difficult corner, not only on GT1 cars. Any car you drive here, even an MX-5, an LMP1, all these cars are going to struggle here. It's such a difficult corner to get it right 100% of the time, and it looks like David Bradford was one of the victims.
I'm not so sure he even locks up here. This will be a good look at it, though. He just charges the corner, misses the braking zone a little bit, no lockup there. That's just a classic case of somebody driving a little bit too hard. And again, I think he was trying to hold himself within that delta to Andrew Lockie, was using the road course bits, the infield, and the bus stop to try and keep himself there so that he could continue to draft off of the number 23 car that's leading. So I really think that was just a complete mistake by David Bradford. Just overdrove it a bit into the bus stop, and now this race is completely blown wide open as far as Andrew Lockie's potential. 3.5 seconds back to Steve Singer, and that gap is continuing to open up.
Yeah, Andrew Lockie just has one job right now. He just has to control the pace. You know, he has a 3.2 second advantage at this moment in time. If he needs to save fuel, he has the gap to do so. If he needs to push, well, he has the gap to do so. So all he needs now is just to focus on his own race and, well, avoid any mistakes. As looks like we do have another battle brewing here. Looks like this is Will Hewitt trying to challenge Jesse King. Those two nearly came into contact on the exit of turn 6 a few laps ago, and looks like the driver number 33 is wants at least to make up for his mistake. As it looks like Jesse just for a tad bit misses the apex on turn 6.
Carson Conway has joined Bobby Hamilton Jr. out of this race. Bobby Hamilton Jr. will take 15th, currently 5 laps down. Carson Conway currently 14th. 14th, 3 laps down at the moment. Obviously, those numbers will grow. Jeff Napier, after his incident into the International Horseshoe, is still in this race, has rejoined the field, is in 13th, but is 2 laps down to the race leaders, and I believe that number just went up from 1 to 2, so letting the leaders by potentially. We're watching this battle. This is for 7th. Will Hewitt charging up to Jesse King, or at least doing his best to try. And there's a battle right behind these guys that is brewing. I think it's a lot closer. Here we go. A pass for position up on the banking. Vincent Short with the draft around Thomas McMullen.
Looks like that was an easy pass, and that's just the power of the draft. But looks like McMullen might have some sort of issue because the number 5 is coming really, really quickly. I'm not pretty sure that's an engine issue or something, but definitely something's not right with that Corvette. He looks like he's struggling a lot with top-end speed, and he just allowed the number 5 to go on through, so something is definitely wrong with the driver of the O2.
Thomas McMullen to the International Horseshoe. I don't see any damage, interestingly enough. He was offline there through the Horseshoe, kind of ran a groove up, which, interestingly enough, whenever we get whenever we get rain in the sim, JP, that'll actually be the preferred line here at Daytona through the horseshoe, is to run that groove up, because all that rubber on the bottom side, that's going to make the track rather smooth, rather slick, with rain on top of it, water on top of it. You won't be able to use that bottom line where everything is, all the gaps, all the little pores in the asphalt are filled in with rubber. So that top line would actually be a lot better if it were raining, but right now it is definitely dry. And actually, this is a great time. Let's talk about the weather here this afternoon, this evening. 71 degrees or so, 72 degrees on the track. So that's pretty normal. Only 15 cars around here. It's not going to heat the track up all that much. Very calm conditions. Perfect for racing, I dare say.
Yeah, exactly. Looks amazing, and I could not imagine what this track would look like if it was raining. Can you imagine, Andrew? I'm not pretty sure if they would allow rain on an oval road course. I'm not pretty sure how it works, but boy, I'm excited whenever.
Well, yeah, this being a road course, they would have to. That is such a big part of Daytona 24s. It has been for so many years, of course. We had the one recently where we sat under yellow because of rain for hours on hours, and it felt like it was really just a Daytona 12-hour potentially. But rain is such a big part of sports car racing. Another big part of sports car racing is just watching these cars go around, and at Daytona especially, this is one heck of a view.
Yeah, exactly. Such a nice venue, obviously it's an oval and obviously a road course build inside of it, it's just amazing adaptation. It's such a nice racetrack as well. You don't often see that much, but it's just, I guess, isn't this the original road course built inside an oval? I'm pretty sure you're the guy to ask. I'm not pretty sure if there was any other, I guess, before it, but if this is the original, they did it fantastic.
Well, that's actually a great point. I know Indianapolis Motor Speedway promoted, I guess they had a promo sheet of a road course back in 1912, the early 1900s, but it wasn't built. That course was really just on the flyer. They wanted to, didn't happen. So I think Daytona may have been the first, if not one of the first. This is a battle for the 5th position. Brian Rose getting, Brian Rose is putting the pressure on Stephen Baldwin. For a second, I thought it was the other way around. This is for the 5th position, so top 5 at stake.
Yeah, exactly. This could be a top 5. Obviously, this could be much, much more if if second and third place do have damage. Where obviously, if it hinders them a lot, this could be a battle for the podium in the future. But Brian Rose, if he can get close enough, we saw how powerful the slipstream is. He looks very deep on the braking, so confidence is building for the 89 driver. And well, if it builds enough, we could be seeing a dive bomb or even a move into the.
Brian Rose out of the International Horseshoe. He had gained a lot of time into turn 1, loses some out of the horseshoe there. Through the kink, we'll see if he gains or loses. Misses the apex by a little bit, has to lift a little bit extra, but into the west horseshoe, much heavier on the brakes and much later on the brakes. Pushes that braking zone, gains some time, and I think has gained a lot of time here on Baldwin in just the last corner or so. 2-3 tenths, very close in turn 6. A great run through turn 6 out of the corner, though. The Corvette able to put power down first and stretch its legs a little bit.
It's like Baldwin is feeling the pressure. He was wide. He actually had a small tangle up and a small loss of traction, and then he went wide on turn 6. So he might be feeling the pressure around here. So, well, if the Aston Martin driver can get close enough, we might be seeing a move. Oh, looks like he got way too close there, and he's going to be losing quite a bit of speed into the bus stop.
And as I mentioned, I lapped these cars earlier. I was just seeing what they felt like here at Daytona. And one thing that I noticed is how much more aggressive I could be on the brakes in the Aston Martin compared to the Corvette. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just larger carbon brakes or what have you, but I just had a much better feel with the brakes in the Aston Martin than the Corvette. Allowed me to charge some more corners, and that looked like it helped Baldwin, or rather Rose at first, but here just completely misses his mark way deep into the bus stop, completely botches that corner, loses a lot of time, and now he's fallen well back. And I say he's fallen way back. There's actually been a separate incident with these two. Baldwin has lost the spot, and now Rose is in front, and Baldwin has company from King.
Well, I guess that's the definition of how the turntables. We weren't expecting that. It looks like he's gonna be having to defend from another driver. So if he was feeling the pressure from Rose before, well, looks like Jesse King is right behind him, so he might have another company right here, but at least they're equal machinery. It looks like two Corvettes, so same machinery, same horsepower, same everything. So around the slipstream, these is going to be powerful. Looks like, well, the move is already being done. Baldwin got way wide into turn 6, and, well, did he lose the position? Not yet, but they're going to go side by side. Looks like through the oval. Well, this is going to be interesting, challenge into the
Side by side down to the bus stop. Corvette on Corvette, and one Corvette backs out. That was Jesse King backing out, allowing Baldwin to run through the bus stop and get the advantage once more. That's really going to help Baldwin out in this next lap. Let's take a look back and try and find exactly what happened here to Baldwin to set him back, and it's going to happen in turn number 1. So another heavy braking zone. Big topic of conversation with these cars. This is Baldwin's onboard.
So it's going to be, as you mentioned, a heavy braking zone. He just brushes the wall. Looks like that might... Ooh, that's deep. That's way too fast. Does he hit the barriers? No, not quite. So maybe just that bit of brush into the barriers may have just caught him out. And, well, that's enough to make him lose a position.
While this is happening, hey, we've got pit stops, it looks like. Here's David Bradford, Steve Singer also in the pit lane. So a 17.53 stop. The pit timer is going to count out to the end of pit lane. iRacing recently updated the Daytona International Speedway road pit lane to go all the way down to the IMSA release point, and there we go. A longer stop for Singer, but the pit lane time is actually very comparable, about 7/10 difference. Singer a little bit slower, and that actually accounts for most of the difference in the... I guess the box time accounts for most of the difference in the lane time overall, but Bradford was so much further back, he's not able to capitalize on the extra second that he made up in the pit lane to get that spot. I'm actually kind of surprised here. I thought these guys would try and push the 45 minutes. Looks like we're expecting pit stops.
Yeah, exactly. Now the question is, when will the leader stop? Andrew Locke, obviously, now he's going to be, well, not this lap, clearly. He just went over the time he scored. He's just starting another lap, so could have been pitting for damages. Probably, I'm not quite sure, as you mentioned, Andrew.
No, because the 6 car still has damage. That was definitely a fuel stop.
Well, so that's going to be interesting then. Andrew Lockett, let's see. I mean, he was supposed to be the first one to run out of fuel, so and now things got way interesting.
Cole Ainsley has just pitted. This is a battle now for 3rd at the moment. It'll drop back down to 5th later on. Jesse King has worked up to Brian Rose. These are the cars that we were starting to look at a little bit ago before pit stops, before that replay. Side by side now through the S's. This is tricky down to the International Horseshoe. Corvette outside of Aston Martin. Does Rose give it up? I don't think so. And here's Baldwin to join in.
Well, looks like we're going to have a 3-car battle, looks like. It looks like that's Baldwin joining in, both of them. This is a battle for the provisional podium. Obviously, after everyone stops, it's going to be different. But this is a battle that's just been brewing on for the last few laps. The number 25 goes deep under braking. It looks like he got the move done. He somehow managed to get a stop.
I think Rose saw the headlights coming and said, nope, I'll get out of the way of that one, and I'll use the straightaway to get on back by. You can see the rotors glowing inside the right front of the 25 car into turn number 6, and man, what a run through 6. King has gapped these guys. He has taken off at this point. A couple of pit stops happened that lap, those being Will Hewitt, who is now leaving the pit lane, and Cole Ainsley, who is still in the pits. The Rick Motec number 86 has been in the pit lane for quite some time. I dare say this driver must have been speeding. Yeah, I think that is a fair assessment. 40 seconds thereabouts longer than the rest of the times. That tells me speeding.
Yeah, so just a small mistake can cost you big time. If that was a speeding penalty, be careful not to hit the wall on the outside of the pit lane. It's easy to do. But yeah, if it was just a speeding penalty, that's going to be so unfortunate. I'm pretty sure he's going to be hitting himself. Looks like Truck Soul just came out of the pits in that Aston Martin. Looks like he's currently in 11th place.
So and Truxell got that spot because of Ainsley's penalty. That's how important it is to make sure you're on the limiter.
Yeah, and exactly. And Daytona, I'm pretty sure it's one of the most difficult places to stop on the pit lane. You're just coming out of that oval section and just deep under braking. And obviously, sometimes you're trying to cut the course. You just arrive too soon on the pit limiter, and well, that's going to be a penalty.
This is that battle for second, third, and fourth currently. Obviously, that'll change again once these pit stops cycle through. At least it will if they have to pit. They've been back here. Maybe they have enough fuel to go to the end. We don't know exactly. I dare say they'll have to pit. I think the only driver that can sit back and save right now is going to be our race leader, Andrew Lockie. And at this point, truly, JP, he is able to sit back, save, and really back things down. He's got 31 seconds back to the next car and much more time back to the next car that pitted. That was Steve Singer. He's got to the tune of 51 seconds.
That's a large gap. I was expecting for you to... Oh, looks like the 15 is around. So, well, that's going to... Vincent Short, that's going to fortunately hurt his race. But Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, obviously Jesse King, Brian Rose, they haven't stopped yet. So, I mean, if none of these guys, the top five essentially stop, this is going to be a completely different scenario, completely different race finish from what we kind of expected maybe 10 minutes ago.
I would expect King, Rose, and Baldwin to pit still. I don't think they'll go to the end. I think really this is a race Lockie versus Singer. I don't hear Lockie really saving right now. He's running the gears kind of high. He might be in a different fuel map if they're able to adjust it with the fixed setup. He's not really lifting and coasting either. Let's listen into turn 6. No, that's pretty standard. It doesn't sound like he's saving much. For his sake, I hope he is. He's got 50 seconds to work with here.
Yeah, exactly. It will be a shame to throw out this race lead, on just a small battle of one lap of fuel. He has the gap. He has the pace to be leading and to pass some of these guys. So, just going to be interesting. It looks like that's Brian Rose. Yeah, Brian Rose. So just as you mentioned, he comes down into pit lane. Now the question is, how long will his stop be? Looks like he stopped for nearly 22 seconds on his pit box. So that's not as quick as we have seen, Andrew, but still a bit quick. I'm pretty sure he can hold position.
Will Hewitt should come by momentarily, or at least close up. I actually don't think Hewitt's going to pass. No, Hewitt is certainly not going to pass Rose. This is Hewitt at turn 4 on the oval, and here's Rose leaving the pit lane. There is one car coming by. That is Jeff Napier. We've not talked much about him since his incident into the International Horseshoe, and his right side mirror is waving to us. Look at that.
Oh, and there he goes. No, it does not. It's just holding on for dear life, looks like. It may just go away at some point, but look at it, it's just tangling off. Luckily, he has the ability to look on the virtual mirror because, well, if that was real life, I'm pretty sure that would be very annoying for the driver. But a bit of way loss. Oh, and look at it. It looks like the mirror is off balancing the weight of the car. And unfortunately, that made him go. At least he'll go off track.
That mirror. That's only a couple of pounds, if that. That's probably 1 or 2. These race cars, they're rather light, especially those parts. Yeah, that that's interesting.
I'm pretty sure I just gave him a racing driver excuse, and I'm pretty sure he'll...
Yeah, it's a great excuse. Not exactly accurate, but it's a great excuse. Pit stops up front. We have seen a pit stop now from Lockie. He's exiting the pit lane, and he's still got quite the lead on Steve Singer. Here's Singer into turn 1 now. The gap is still substantial, 11 seconds or so. The stop, 2 seconds faster for Lockie. So the 9-second gap that we were looking at previously grows by 2 seconds. That sounds about right. So Lockie does pit. Very cut and dry. Doesn't have to worry about saving anything. Not a bad strategy call. When you already had that kind of gap, go ahead and come in. Don't risk anything. I think that was the goal.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. He just came back on top, and, well, he's still leading. He led pretty much every single lap. If not every single lap, if I'm not mistaken. And, well, his car is completely undamaged by the looks of it. He's just keeping up the gap. And naturally, that gap will just increase at this time. So with 16 minutes to go, if he doesn't make any mistakes, this should be a safe and dry race. Looks like we do have 2 cars. McMullen on the pit stop with his O2. It looks like another driver just leaving the pit stall. I'm not pretty sure who that was. But the rest of the field just coming down the pit stop for repairs.
Very surprised by the tire call. Goes up on Jackson. He has stalled the car, leaving the pit lane. McMullen gets it back rolling. We'll move on. Cody Harger's the car that you saw coming in pitting. Looks like his name isn't populating the graphic, unfortunately, but that is Cody Harger in the 66. McMullen leaving. The other car that was leaving was Vincent Short in the Corvette. 22.6 seconds there. And these guys are probably taking a little more fuel because they had more time running on their own. Less time behind other cars, less time to draft and save even small bits of fuel, even a tenth of a gallon or so, and that adds up. Especially, a lot of cars on iRacing, and particularly oval cars, so maybe it's not a problem with these, but a lot of cars on iRacing, JP, you don't get to go by tenth of a gallon. Sometimes you've got to adjust the gallon setting, what you're going to add, by a gallon and a half, or gallon point, let's see, 1.7 gallons or something like that. It's usually a problem in stock cars where you can only go with like an eighth of a gallon, or eighth of a tank, quarter of a tank, and so on, half of a tank, so on. These cars, not so sure. I'll have to, I guess that'll be what I add to my list of testing for next time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, obviously, I run the metric system, so for me, it's a bit easier. It's on liters. It's always half a liter each click. So I'm not pretty sure how that translates.
Well, no, each car is still different.
Making a mistake. Oh, each car is still different. Oh,
yeah. Each car still has differences. It might be in liters, but it might still be 1.7 liters, and that can definitely be a challenge for some of these guys. This was Harger with a problem out of the West Horseshoe.
Well, that paint scheme definitely got my heart racing. If that was Andrew Lucky, I hope it's different, because I haven't been racing on iRacing for what, 12 months, 18 months. But looks like we're gonna have to see a mistake on the number 66. Is that on turn 3 as well? That looks like on each and every single. Oh, that's the West Horseshoe, and looks like he's gonna avoid a barrier. Well, just a tiny bit. If that tire barrier was just a meter wider, it would just hit him. So a nice save, nice rallying cross activities for that Aston Martin, and well, he's back.
Good little catch there. Jeff Napier now with a problem. We'll cut to him live right here. The right side mirror is still hanging off of that car, so no damage, I don't think, extra anyways. Just goes around, and I believe that's out of the same corner. It looks like that is also out of the West Horseshoe, and it is. You'll now go into turn number 6. The driver of the 40 car with some troubles. There's a battle up ahead. Here we go, 5th place.
Yeah, looks like that's Brian Rose and Steven. Well, looks like that move was already done. Baldwin looks like got it through, or Brian Rose failed an overtake. Well, anyway, it looks like Baldwin has quite a considerable gap, at least at this point. They went side by side through the bus stop, and that's sometimes what happens. One car wins a lot, and the other one, well, sometimes is left out.
Nikki Short watching over on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you guys are enjoying it so far. We have not been on coverage of the Superior Class Auto Racing, I guess, banner of leagues in some time, but I'm glad that we're here this evening. This has been a very, very fun one. It truly has. This has been a lot of fun. Getting GT1 cars on the channel is really, really cool, especially at a place like Daytona to kick things off. So, quite cool, I'd say. Up front, things very calm, I'd say. And you know what? The top 3 or 4, very equidistant. It's 16 seconds between Lockie and Singer, 17 between Singer and Bradford, another 17, almost 18 between Bradford and King, and then 13 seconds back to Baldwin and Rose in this battle for 5th position. The only battle that I see on the racetrack, just about. These guys very, very close.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like these guys, well, they're inseparable at this moment in time. Looks like they just get, past one another, and, well, it just keeps on repeating itself, and I'm loving it, Andrew. I'm not pretty sure about you, but I'm 100% loving it. The number 89 is still chasing the number 18 at this point in time, and just look at how strong the slipstream is. We'll be looking at a move. Oh, he's flashing his headlights. He's trying to get into the head. He's going for a move down the inside. Yes, he goes. The Aston Martin looks like it's deeper under braking on the bus stop, and the Corvette just kind of gets a bit wiggly, I'd say, just a bit out of shape. And, well, but he's still very close. I'm pretty sure a move is going to be done as they head into the tri-oval.
I'm very surprised by the lights there. That was interesting for Brian Rose. That's not something you usually see in heads-up battling like that. Jesse King, fastest lap of the race now, a 140.3. That's only 6 seconds off of a DPI around here. That's pretty darn quick. Here we go, across the line, side by side. This is for 5th place. Brian Rose, Stephen Baldwin, heads-up racing. Heavy on the brakes, down to turn 1, down through the gears, the Corvette on the outside, the Aston Martin on the inside. Baldwin misses the corner entirely, a little too wide, loses a lot of time, and here comes Hewitt. This is 3 cars now for position, 5th, 6th, 7th. Oh, Brian Rose sideways in the International Horseshoe, going to open the door. Hewitt sideways on exit.
I was going to mention, he was also getting a little bit of a drifty action. It looks like, as you mentioned, a 3-car battle for 5th place, looks like it. Well, this is going to be interesting. A lot of points up to grab for these guys. Hewitt looking down the inside. Andrew Lockie Well, right now he gets the fastest lap of the race for his own, unbuckling King from that spot. And looks like the 3-car battle may have just evolved into a 2-car battle. But look at it. Baldwin goes wide. Hewitt gets the move.
Yeah, Baldwin's just very inconsistent right now. Vincent Short is around again further back, but this battle's too good to leave. Looks like Vincent Short, a single car incident, will continue on. These two guys, Baldwin could press into the braking zone for the bus stop. I don't know if he's going to. Yeah, sits back. He's going to wait. I don't see any reason for him to press right now. He's been very consistent on the twisty bits. Of course, the road here at the road course at Daytona. So I think that's a very good move. Sits back behind Will Hewitt and will let these two fight. That's a great move, I think, in fact, from Baldwin to let these two fight, and you might be able to open up the door if you're Baldwin now, because if these guys have a mistake, you're able to run right back up to them. Just calm down, get back into a rhythm. It can be a little bit slower than these guys, because again, JP, if these guys tangle, the door opens up wide.
And how many times have we seen that, Andrew? How many times have we called that out?
Many, and there we go.
There we go. Commentator's curse. That's on you this time. Looks like Rose is going to be losing 2 positions after a small mistake. Rose, you're going to blame Andrew on that one. I'm not getting the blame for that one. Well, unfortunately, he's going to lose 2 positions, but he has the pace. He proved it. He has the pace. He's aggressive under braking, so he could get those position backs. Only 9 minutes to go. A few extra laps. Looks like around 8 to 9 laps to go, so still plenty of time if you have the pace, if you have the confidence. But it looks like Hewitt is just driving off into the distance. Looks like Baldwin doesn't have the pace to match Hewitt at this moment in time, so he just has to hold back Rose.
Hewitt's got a much faster, fastest lap. Oh, and look at that. Will Hewitt turned around out of turn 6. This is what I was talking about for Baldwin. Suddenly, he's right back into 5th with about 5 laps remaining, 8 minutes. This is perfect for Stephen Baldwin. Let these guys make mistakes. And here comes Ainsley into all of this. These guys will soon battle for 7th. Let's take a look back, because that changes the race entirely in this midfield. That's important.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not pretty sure who that count goes into. Does it go into my account of commentator's curse or yours? I'm going to take the blame for that one, because that was on my watch. But yeah, he would just... I'm not pretty sure what happened. It's just that bump on turn 6. He just catches so many cars. He does get... Yeah, just
it wasn't even
running
the
on a downforce.
It was an apex.
Yeah, it wasn't... Yeah, it was just missing the apex. And, well, the backhand, unfortunately, he does not get the car going too quickly. And looks... I'm not pretty sure if he lost another position. Yeah, he lost to Cole Ainsley. So, yeah, unfortunately for him, 3 position loss, I'm pretty sure. So a small mistake can cost you that much. And I'm pretty sure the one that is tanking is Stephen Baldwin.
Hewitt's going to have a draft up to Colt, though. Colt defends high, is going to open up the door down low. And Hewitt up the inside. Oh, my goodness. He's made some contact with the pit wall, but he misses Colt Ainsley. Very important. A great catch there, but his motor has expired. That's a lot of damage to the number 33 car. Will Hewitt is just about done. Look at him smoking, leaving the accident scene. He's maybe going to make the horseshoe. He might make it back around. But that's a lot of damage to the rear. Might not look like a lot of damage to the rear, but the cooling system at the rear of that car is junk.
Yeah, 100%. He just clipped the grass on entry of the corner, and that just completely unsettled the car. The car just got into like a snake state. You know, luckily for him, as you mentioned, completely amazing job. Oh, the 16 is around. That is going to be, I'm not 100% sure who that is on the name, but looks like his left-hand mirror is out. And, oh, Hewitt goes around again. That's going to be a tow for him. So that's just how quickly things can turn on its head around.
Wow. Simply wow. Not a whole lot of other ways to simplify that one. I summarized that one. This is Will Hewitt. This will be down to turn 1. Ainsley is going to defend high. Rick Montec 86 goes up high, opens the door down low. Interesting choice already, but allows Hewitt the inside, ends up clipping the grass there, unsettles the car. Wow. Heads up driving from Hewitt, though, not to take out Cole Ainsley. That is commendable.
100%. I'm not pretty sure how he did that on the heat of the moment, because on that moment, sometimes you're just thinking about, saving your own car. You're not thinking about, I'm going to take that guy out. But that was an amazing driving by him. But unfortunately for him, he just clipped the tire barrier. It wasn't even that hard of a hit, because on the onboard camera, it looks like he avoided completely. But as soon as we cut off, smoke was pouring out of his car. So Unfortunately, end of the race for him, but I mean, at least it wasn't the end of the race for Colt as well.
This the battle for 5th position, and there it is. Baldwin makes a mistake, and that allows Brian Rose to go right back through Baldwin. The ball was in his court, and he has just gone out of bounds, literally and figuratively, going onto the grass there. That's an off track, and loses the spot.
And it is so unfortunate for him, and Rose once again finds himself in that P5 position. We're going to take a look at the replay to see exactly what happened. But looks like Baldwin doesn't really fare too well under pressure. And unfortunately for him, that's something definitely a racing driver will have to work towards. But as you can see, just deeply, deeply under braking. And was that just way too much speed? No, it was actually on the apex. So quite interesting to see. I'm not pretty sure what was lost on that car, if it was the backhand. But unfortunately for him, losing 2 positions, no, just 1. So not the worst case scenario, but now he's going to have to defend for Cole Ainsley.
Most drivers on this track separated by seconds at this point. The closest two are Thomas McMullen and Vincent Short. They are 9th and 10th. We'll let you know if they get get any closer, but with 4 minutes to go, Andrew Lockie has a 20-second lead. Back to Steve Singer. And this is a development series in a lot of ways. This is an opportunity for a lot of the SCAR guys that run on oval but want to get better on road to be able to come out here and get better on road. You might think go to some character building cars like Mazda Miatas, or MX-5s, whichever one you want to call them, or even GT4 cars potentially, but I don't disagree with this move. Go take GT1 cars around North America and even over to Italy. Why? Because they're difficult. If you want to learn how to drive a stock car, which doesn't have any assists, no ABS, no TC, lacks downforce, you have to make a lot of mechanical grip. If you want to figure out a stock car on a road course, take a GT1 car somewhere, because the lack of ABS and the little bit of TC that you have will definitely get you to figure out how to brake on a road course and then drive out of a corner without spinning the rear tires. I like this move.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more. Obviously, it's a different approach, but, well, some of these guys seem to get the hang of it, and obviously those who haven't, it's a learning opportunity. It's a corner. Obviously, we're going to see obviously, we're going to see, I guess, progressive, how much they evolve throughout the season. You know, we have a 10-round season. I'm excited to see some of these guys that are struggling here today. How will they fare out in the 10th round, you know, within months and months from now? So a lot of practice has to go on, and a difficult car and difficult courses are just the way.
Rise is over in the YouTube chat cheering on Jesse King, and it's working so far. Jesse King up to 4th after some earlier struggles. Jesse King regrouping at this point and is looking pretty good. Here on this last lap or two, we could have an interesting battle. I say an interesting battle because it's a battle that we thought was sorted out after the latest issue for Stephen Baldwin, but if Brian Rose makes a mistake, and he is tight right now, pushing the front tires, he rose to the left front through the International Horseshoe. Look at that. Lockie, light fuel load goes purple. But Brian Rose, if he makes a mistake, he's going to be perfect, or he's got Baldwin back on him, and behind Baldwin is Cole Ainsley, only 2 seconds back. These guys are relatively close enough to where we've got to watch them, I think.
I mean, we definitely have to watch them. Mistakes have been done by both of these drivers so far this race, so I wouldn't expect if we saw somehow Baldwin finishing ahead of Rose, or even Rose just taking back the position somehow. So we do have to keep an eye out for these guys, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be a battle that's going to be going on throughout the season, and I cannot wait to see how these two will fare out on the next round.
2 seconds the gap down to the bus stop. They should come around and get 2 to go at the line. And that said, Andrew Lockie will soon come around to take the white flag. That'll be in some more amount of time. Andrew Lockie currently is out of turn 2 on the oval. So that's down to the bus stop. About 10, 15, 20 seconds behind these guys. Still on board with Baldwin. And the gap is not wavering. Brian Rose, cool, calm, collected, cucumber-like, you might say, down to turn 1.
But still 2 laps to go, so anything can happen. But I'm not pretty sure something will happen to Locke. You know, just didn't get qualifying straight, did he? But as soon as the race started, he was already up into P1, down into the horseshoe. He was actually down up into P1 as he looks like he's going to get the white flag. Is he coming into the tri-oval? No, he's coming to the bus. No, it looks like that's turn 1. Yes, that's the final lap. So he just got the white flag, and he led every single lap. That's just a perfect race for him. Unfortunately, not pole position for the Grand Chelem, but he led every lap. He has the fastest lap at this point.
No, he didn't.
And well,
25 laps led. 26 laps have elapsed, so there was one lap that went the other way. Remember, David Radford battled with him, and Radford actually started on pole. The Tucson Sound Art white flag has been displayed at the Daytona International Speedway, and we're on board with your race leader through the West Horseshoe. Time is ticking down. No cars are close for position aside from Cody Harger and Vincent Short now. This is a battle very deep in the field. 10th position, so a top 10 on the line for these two. And Short closes in the hairpin in the horseshoe, but runs very wide on exit and is going to spin. Vincent Short with a last lap opportunity at passing Cody Harger has unfortunately given it up entirely. Spins around out of the horseshoe and has lost any chance at 10th place. Here's our race leader coming around to potentially lap Mark Truxell. Truxell wants the extra lap. Lockie wants to deny him that chance. Then again, may sit behind him. At this point, if you're Andrew Lockie, you may as well sit behind him. Let that driver go. Let him have that extra lap. You've got 20 seconds back to Steve Singer because you have driven a darn near perfect race. And JP, out of the turn 4 banking at Daytona, it's going to be all Andrew Lockie winning the first round of the Superior Class Auto Racing Sports Car Championship.
In dominant, absolutely dominant fashion. I cannot wait to talk to him. Actually, you cannot wait to talk to him. Cannot wait for hear from him. And well, I'm expecting some donuts. Looks like we're going to have Steve Singer down into P2. That's going to be a fantastic race for him as well. So we're going to have an Aston Martin 1-2 around the US of A. So the British coming into clutch, even on the GT Championship. Looks like David Bradford on the Corvette for P1 in the Corvettes is going to finish down in P3 and round off the podium.
Stephen Baldwin has just spun out of turn 6 and has given up P6. Cole Ainsley has gone on by. The driver of the 18 spins around. I don't think they were close enough for contact, but let's make sure. Sure enough, no contact here. Stephen Baldwin in his own zip code, and unfortunately, a very costly last lap mistake. This is Baldwin down to the braking zone for 6, catches the grass there, and that spins the car right round, baby, right round.
Yeah, just this corner has just caught so many cars out, and it's such a simple yet tricky corner, and it's just frustrating to do it on the final lap, but unfortunately for him, that's going to be it looks like P7 for him, unfortunately. So what could have been P6 or P5 at a time is going to be P7. It looks like we're going to have a photo shoot, looks like, from the top.
Mark Trucks will be the final car to come through and finish this race, and he is coming into the tri-oval now. 18 degrees of banking to finish off the race. 45 minutes of racing now complete at the Daytona International Speedway for round number 1 of the Superior Class Auto Racing Sports Car Championship. Truxell finishing in the 8th position, but it's all Andrew Lockie up front getting things done. What a race he drove in that yellow and green Aston Martin. 2 Aston Martins, as you mentioned, taking the top 2 positions here at Daytona to open things up. We've got 8 more North American rounds, 1 in Italy. A lot to look forward to here in the Superior Class Auto Racing Sports Car Championship. Fantastic tracks are on the way. This has me even more excited than I already was.
100%. I cannot wait for the next round. We saw some mistakes here. We saw some incidents, but we saw amazing battles. And, well, this will only get better as these guys get more used to these cars. And, well, I'm excited to see the Constructors battle because Aston Martin got the upper hand around.
So Andrew Lockie in the number 23 taking top honors this evening. Tonight, you could say, Steve Singer, David Bradford, they will finish off the top three. David Bradford, starting from pole, got to be a little bit disappointing to have come up 2 positions short. Not just the 1 position short, but 2 positions short. I know that one is going to stick with David a little bit. He's somebody who prides himself in his racing here on the iRacing.com sim, so he is definitely going to, I think, take some notes and take that to the bank for round 2 at Barber here in a few weeks. We'll be talking with each of the top 3 momentarily. Don't go anywhere. Post-race coverage on the way from PitStop TV and the Superior Class Auto Racing Sports Car Championship powered by Grid by SimLab.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome back to the virtual Daytona International Speedway. 45 minutes of racing around the original, the classic Roval, if you will, as we talked about a little while ago. JP, Daytona feels like the place that you've got to start any sports car series, and boy, did it work tonight.
100%. I mean, this was just a fantastic race, and another reason why I love Daytona. It's such a fun track to drive, and I'm pretty sure these guys had a blast driving side by side, winning for Andrew, but I'm pretty sure this is a blast on any type of car you drive.
So with 45 minutes of racing out of the way, let's go ahead and talk to our top 3 drivers, beginning with, of course, Andrew Lockie finishing round 1 off with a big win. Andrew, it's almost a perfect evening for you at Daytona. 26 of 27 laps led. You didn't start from pole, but you finished position number 1.
Yeah, it was a good night. Had a lot of practice here this week, so obviously it paid off, which was good.
Now, when we were first presented this series, first of all, I was excited. I love these GT1 cars, the Corvette and the Aston, but when I heard that it was going to be a bit of a way for you guys to get up to speed on road courses, as opposed to, of course, you are an oval league primarily. When I heard it was a way for you guys to get more acclimated to road, first, I took a second, was like, maybe Monzas would be better, maybe not. Because these cars do teach you throttle and brake control, two very important things in a stock car on a road course. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I don't run the oval with these guys. I'm actually more of a road guy myself, so it was a fairly easier transition for me, I would say.
So then, are you our bushwhacker of the series?
I'm the bushwhacker. Yep.
Well, hey,
blame Steve Singer. He invited me.
Hey, fair enough. Hey, but you know what? It's just like, I guess, the traditional bushwhacker of the last couple of decades in NASCAR, where Kyle Busch goes and beats up on the Xfinity guys. They like the challenge. I'm sure these guys will like the challenge of having to chase somebody that primarily runs road then. How do you try and help these guys? They come to you potentially with questions, or do you just kind of go out there and set laps to try and help these guys, give them a benchmark to go chase?
Steve and I worked a lot in the past when he first joined the service, and we'll join practice sessions together. I will with him and his guys, and there are some quick guys in here. Steve, Jesse, are particularly quick, and it's really not going to take them long to get up to pace. And a lot of these guys are learning, and to be honest with you, they're learning really, really, really fast. So I expect it to be a pretty competitive series, sooner than later, for sure.
Well, Andrew, like I mentioned, it's a near perfect day for you. Not quite pole, but you lead 26 to 27 laps. Who do you have to thank? Who helps you make it happen?
Well, like I said, I'd like to thank Steve for inviting me and, introducing me to this group of guys, and they're good dudes, and I look forward to the next race. It'll be fun.
Hey, buddy, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you at Barber in a few weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks, man. Have a great night.
And that is Andrew Lockey in the number 23 car, finishing things up on top, where it sounds like he belongs, at least for now, but the rest of the field catching up, and that all begins with the number 6 of Steve Singer, JP.
So, Steve, obviously a fantastic start for your season, just one place shy of the victory, but after starting P4, I mean, you could be pretty happy with P2.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. Second place is not where we wanted to be, but Andrew Locke is no slouch here. I've known Andrew actually personally for a long time, and kind of ran into him here in this whole iRacing thing about a year or so ago, and he got me into this road racing aspect of things. I'm kind of an oval guy at heart, but I do seem to run a little better on these road courses. But he walked away with it tonight for sure.
And how was your race? I mean, Andrew, obviously, as you mentioned, he kind of got the better, he got a better strategy. Unfortunately, he just ran off. But how was your race? How was the battle throughout the field, starting in P4 and obviously finish up in P2?
Starting P4, I was kind of thinking I'd be at least P3 or 2. I didn't think I'd have anything for Andrew. He's usually pretty quick. But even David, I expected him to be up probably front row because he put down a 39 in practice. But as far as my race went, Cody Harger, he had a mechanical issue with his pedals pre-race, so he ended up dropping out right off the bat, so that kind of moved me up to third. But as far as the race in general, I mean, I didn't have any issues. I got a clean race, no incidents. I did tag the wall a little bit on the backstretch early on, being foolish, looking up at my my overlays and knocked the mirror off of it. It didn't give me any kind of incident, but it did hurt the car. On my fuel stop, I did see that I had some damage to repair. I wasn't going to take the time for a mirror alone, but it did seem to slow the car down just enough to hurt me there.
And Andrew touched a bit, and you as well touched a bit on the car. How was your car choice? Why did you choose the Aston over the Corvette?
Well, the rules that we have in place for the season is you're going to run the car that you run the first race with. So pick accordingly, because if you don't like it at Daytona, you're stuck with it. Originally, I was thinking I was going to run the C6 for the season. I like the car, but I felt that I could be more aggressive with the Aston and not have any issues. So I ended up ultimately going with it, though it is kind of down on power compared to the Corvette. But then again, you look at things that the two top guys here are running that car. So I don't know. I think that's what we're going to stick with and go from there.
Well, if you stick with it, looks like the first week was definitely a nice week for the Aston. Number 1s and 2 on the finish line. But talking about next race, how are you feeling for it? Are you confident enough around Barber?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, for the most part, I spent a lot of time working on these tracks to try and pick them for the series, for this league. But Barber is one that I'm not super comfortable with. Daytona here, I'm not really super comfortable with either. I like Watkins Glen. I like Road America. I didn't put Road America on the schedule, but Barber it's challenging. It's fun. It kind of forces you to use road racing technique to be fast. So it's good. I mean, the whole purpose of this series is, to have some fun, but most of us are oval guys. So if we can get everybody out here and at least improve their road racing craft ever so slightly to transfer over to when they're running an oval car on a road course, well, then that's a win.
Wow, this is going to be so much fun seeing you guys race around these racetracks. I was talking with Andrew. The schedule looks amazing, and I cannot wait to see how you guys are going to fare going to do actually on the next few racetracks. But before I let you go, who do you have to thank for your result here tonight?
Well, first of all, Holler Boys Racing TV. It's another broadcast channel that I usually do, but needed you guys to come in and do a fantastic job to cover the race. So thank you guys for being here as well. I want to thank Castle Products, my sponsor, my employer for that matter, Popple, Two Blessings Thrift Shop, some sponsors that are on board with us, and we really appreciate their help this season.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're happy with your result as well. It was amazing talking to you, Steve, and I hope I can talk to you next week as well.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Andrew, that was Steve Singer, our P2 finisher, second place finisher. And it was amazing talking to him, especially about the car choice. So I'm interested what you're going to ask for our third place finisher here tonight, David Bradford.
We don't actually have David in the Discord, but we'll go ahead and move over to our race results at this point. Andrew Lockie, of course, taking top honors this evening, 19 and a half seconds clear of Steve Singer. David Bradford follows up in third, joining those two on the podium. Jesse King takes fourth. Brian Rose takes fifth. Cole Ainsley sixth. Stephen Baldwin in seventh, a minute and a half out of first position. Mark Truxell, the last car on the lead lap, 1 minute 49 back. Thomas McMullen, the first car, one lap down. Cody Harger in 10th. Pretty good day after his initial issues there, JP. You see the last five of the field: Vincent Short, Jeff Napier, Will Hewitt, Carson Conway, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. Mentioned the schedule. We mentioned the schedule a lot this evening. Let's take a look at it one more time for the Superior Class Honor Racing Sports Car Championship by Grid by SimLab. Here we go. Daytona, Barber, Lime Rock, Mid-Ohio, Watkins Glen, Canadian Tire, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Monza, Laguna Seca, Sonoma. A lot of classic road courses, I think, that you have to take GT1 cars to. Maybe a couple of extras in there. I think Monza is a little bit interesting, at least when you think of the American theme here, but I think this is a pretty cohesive schedule. A lot of great tracks.
Yeah, 100%, and a lot of different tracks. When you think about Barber, the complete opposite, I guess, in my opinion, is going to be Monza. You know, one track, you're looking at high-speed corners, you're looking at a high downforce car, a high downforce setup with a lot of elevation changes, and then you completely, obviously, a whole lot of weeks later, in round number 8, you go to Monza, pretty much a flat course with high speeds, low downforce, extremely low downforce. It's going to provide such great racing with these cars because we just saw that slipstream is going to be powerful in these machines. So tracks like this, especially Lime Rock as well, a short track, 45 minutes, is going to be amazing to see these guys going at it. And while the progression, as we mentioned before, from oval to road course, is going to be amazing to experience as well.
And the interesting dynamic to this series, we don't have dates listed just in case those dates change a little bit, but the next race is on October 7th, at least scheduled for November 7th rather. October 7th was a few days back, but November 7th. And then there's 2 weeks pretty much between, or I guess 1 week between each race, so bi-weekly from there. So we're waiting until November 7th for Barber, then November 21st for Lime Rock Park, December 5th for Mid-Ohio, and December 19th for Watkins Glen. That's the tentative schedule, and then you can fill in the gaps from then on into 2022. So this gives drivers plenty of time in between rounds to practice, something they're definitely going to need when you think of the cars that we're running. And I love that Steve mentioned he felt like he was down on power in the Aston. Yes, a little bit less torque, but you've got more horsepower overall in the V12.
Exactly. So that could be obviously a lot of reasons. Maybe the fixed setup they're running gives the Aston maybe just a tiny bit more downforce than the Corvette. But, you know, if it's down on power, it could be interesting in some tracks. Obviously, as you mentioned, Monza, it could be a very, very bad track for the Aston. but it could provide a great racetrack on Lime Rock. It couldn't be such a hinder, but as he mentioned as well, you can be aggressive with the Aston, so that could pay off in big braking zones. It could pay off on corners, on high-speed corners where you can attack more. So it's really just, counter benefits to one another. One might be more powerful, one might be more nimble, and this is just going to play off fantastically, in my opinion, during the whole championship.
I do want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening, all of the partners associated with PitStop TV, of course, the big partner of the series, Grid by SimLab, for coming on board and helping this series take place. A lot of great people here at PitStop TV make a lot of great things happening, especially our partners at Tucson Sound Art, where your picture is your music. Use promo code PitStop TV at checkout for 10% off of your order. The presenting partner of all of our white flags at PitStop TV, Tucson Sound Art is the place to go if you are looking to add any new wall art to your house, because guess what? It sounds great too. It's a Bluetooth speaker inside of a beautiful wall art canvas. It's fantastic. Seriously, check it out, TucsonSoundArt.com. Take my word for it and tell them that we sent you. We, of course, also have to thank everybody, the beautiful faces at Permanent Makeup in Maine. Go to permanentmakeupinmaine.com for more information there, of course, as well as Whiplash Media, the official broadcast camera and graphic provider of PitStop TV, and BAM Racing Videos, by a race fan for the racing community. JP, it was a fun one. We've got a lot more broadcasts coming up, though. In fact, 3 coming this week. 2 on ovals, 1 on a road course. We've got GT3 cars back in action, but more importantly, I feel right now, it's playoff time for the Outlaws Sim Series and the MSRA National Series. For the Outlaws Sim Series, it's their cutoff race at the Iowa Speedway up in Newton, Iowa, a 7/8 mile D-shaped oval. Every groove is usable, even the apron if you try hard enough. Open setup truck series. It's going to be a lot of fun. Emerson Arden and Devin Kent Zimmerman will take you through the action on Wednesday night. Thursday, that's when we have the North American Racing League GT3 Cars and Stars at the Watkins Glen International. It's going to be a lot of fun there as well. We don't usually get to use the boot here on PitStop TV when we go to Watkins Glen. Usually it's with a stock car series on the Cup course, so adding in the boot is going to be a lot of fun. And let's not forget the MSRA National Series deep amidst their playoff battles going to Kansas Speedway this Friday. GP, there's a lot of action coming up, and a lot of it is rather important.
100%. You shouldn't miss any of it, because pretty sure each and one of these 3 races, every single one of them is going to be fantastic in its own way. And you can follow us and you can watch all of them in our social media at facebook.com/PitStopTV, twitter.com/PitStopTV_, on Instagram for some of our posts. Fantastic shots that we have from our social media guys at Instagram.com/pit_stop_TV, and obviously on YouTube as well at youtube.com/PitStopTV1. Be sure to follow us on all of that so you don't miss any bit of the action.
Some other broadcasts the rest of October that you can look forward to here at PitStop TV include the Cars Esport Tour season finale at Rockingham Speedway on October 27th, as well as the opener to the Outlaws Sim Series playoffs on October 27th, just a little while after the Cars Tour race starts. They will be at Kansas Speedway next week. So they've got Iowa for the cutoff race this week, then Kansas next week. Then we'll have both MSRA series, the Truck Series and the National Series, from Martinsville, October 28th and 29th. Trucks, then Xfinity cars. Make sure to make both of those broadcasts. And let's not forget, of course, in amongst all of that will be race number 3 for the North American Racing League. They will be going to Spa-Francorchamps. So a lot of great racing coming up. A lot to look forward to for any kind of racing fan. And the BRPI Racing Series is coming up very soon. Pay attention to our socials if you want to catch more on them. For now, JP, I gotta ask, before we sign off, final thoughts here from Daytona, round 1 of the Superior Class Auto Racing Sports Car Championship by Grid by SimLab.
I mean, what can I say? Perfect race. A lot of action throughout the field. We had battles for the lead, battles for top 3, top 5, top 10. It's just something that I expect to grow even closer throughout the rounds. And, well, next race can't come soon enough. Unfortunately, it's going to be 2 weeks from now, but I'm sure it will give these guys plenty of time to practice and get, with grips, more in grips with their car in the track. So I'm expecting closer, better. I don't know. I'm just expecting a better race, even though this one was already a fantastic one.
That'll do it from the Virtual World Center of Racing. Daytona International Speedway, always a fantastic season opener. Doesn't matter if it's stock cars around the 2.5 mile super speedway at 200 miles an hour, or sports cars, in this case Corvettes and Aston Martins, almost at 200 miles an hour before braking for turn one and the sort. It's been a lot of fun here, PitStop TV, bringing you this fantastic coverage as always. Thank you so much to Superior Class Auto Racing coming back on board here at PitStop TV and bringing along this sports car championship with Grid by SimLab. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. JP Costa joined me on commentary today. Make sure to stick around with us for a whole lot more coming up at PitStop TV. And if you want to join the crew or advertise with us, email me directly at andrew@pitstoptv.com. Otherwise, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. We can't wait to see you for the next one. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.